By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks, the channel where we talk old school magic. And today we are back in Utrecht, the Netherlands for DadBodCon. And at this tournament we're celebrating old school magic of 1993. What does that mean? It means we're only playing with Alpha, Beta, Unlimited and Arabian Nights. Now you are allowed a few reprints, so if you're interested in the rules, please check out the description below for more information. And in today's match we have Dominic versus Martin. And Dominic is playing one of my favorite decks. Well, I have so many favorite decks, but he's playing Elephant Graveyard. How cool is that? So I'm really looking forward to see War Mammoths, War Elephants, and of course Elephant Graveyard, and all those shenanigans in action. And he's taking on Martin. And Martin is playing a blue-green Arabian Aggro deck. Also a very cool deck with Serendip Djinns and Serendip Ifrits. Just a lot of cool stuff. Now before I dive into the decks, first a quick message from our sponsor, 3for1 Trading. 3for1 Trading is one of Europe's leading Magic the Gathering retailers. Their online shop has a fantastic selection of high-end Magic cards, especially for vintage, legacy, and yes, old school Magic players. They now exclusively offer my community free, fully insured and fast worldwide shipping on all their high-end singles, full sets and out-of-print sealed products. They upload new cards every Wednesday and have weekly sale offers and reductions waiting just for you. Use my code TIMMY to get free worldwide shipping on your first order over $500 or euros. Have fun ordering those cards, and thank you 3for1 Trading for sponsoring this video. And we are back and ready to dive into the decks. I'm going to start with the player on the left, that is Dominic. Let's take a look at his Elephant Graveyard deck. And here we see the deck of Dominic. So this deck is mainly built around Elephant Graveyard. So maybe first zoom into this land from Arabian Nights. So here you can see the land. It says tap to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool or regenerate an elephant or a mammoth. I just love this. So that means if you're playing with War Mammoth and War Elephant, you can now regenerate these creatures with your Elephant Graveyard. So how can you take advantage of this? Well, the most simplistic way, of course, is by playing a Nevinyrral's Disc. There are 2 Nevinyrral's Discs in this deck. So you play your disc, you blow up the board, you destroy all enchantments, artifacts, and creatures, but your elephants and mammoths can be regenerated thanks to your Elephant Graveyard, right? So it's a very simple synergy, but simple is usually good. It works. But this deck is doing more than just that. It's also playing with Ep4, Ifrits, and Cyclones in combination with a Circle of Protection green. And we've actually seen this before at this tournament, but it's good to kind of zoom in to what these cards actually do and how they work together. So Cyclone is an enchantment from Arabian Nights for 2 green and 2 that reads, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a wind counter on Cyclone, then sacrifice Cyclone unless you pay 1 green for each wind counter on it. If you pay, Cyclone deals damage equal to the number of counters on it to each creature and each player. So it deals damage to all your creatures, but remember, you can regenerate your elephants, so they should survive. And then you get damage yourself, but you can prevent that with your Circle of Protection green. And that same trick can be done with the Ep4 Ifrit. So Ep4 Ifrit is a 3/3 flyer with a built-in hurricane mechanic. So any player can pay 1 green, and then it deals 1 damage to each creature with flying and each player. Now, the downside of this is that you're also dealing damage to the Ep4 Ifrit. It has 3 toughness. So as soon as somebody pays 3 green, your Ep4 will eventually die. But it won't die if you enchant it with Green Ward. So we also see Green Ward in this deck. So Green Ward on the Ep4, meaning you don't take the damage from the Ep4. And of course you can prevent the damage to yourself with your COP green. So again, there's that, synergy. So yeah, and we also see, by the way, 3 drops of honey in this deck. Probably to stand a chance against those super aggressive decks, like actually the deck that I'm playing at this tournament, can go really, really quickly. But then with your drop of honeys, you kind of slow down your opponent because they have to start sacrificing their creatures to the drop of honey. So that's, I kind of like that inclusion. We also see 3 Islands of Wakwak, which I think is really cool. The Island of Wakwak, you can tap it to give target flying creatures power, turn that power into 0. So let's say they attack with the Sarah Angel, you can turn it into a 0/4. What I like about this is that you can keep the flying creatures around with the Island of Wakwak. It doesn't kill them, And then later on, you can get value with your if-biff, of course, when you sweep the board, or with your Nevinyrral's Disc when you want to blow up the board. So it can give you some value on the long run. And do remember, this is, of course, a format where we only play with Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and Arabian Nights, meaning you don't have access to a card like Maze of If. And usually Maze is the reason that a card like Island of Wakwak doesn't see a lot of play. So it's pretty cool when you're playing these kind of different rule sets that you see different cards getting their moment in the spotlight. Anyway, this is the deck of Dominic. Now let's take a look at the deck of his opponent. And here we see the deck of Martin. Well, actually, we don't see the deck. I don't have a deck photo, unfortunately, but we see some cards that he's playing because he is playing blue and green, and he really went, hard on the Arabian Nights creature. So he's like, okay, we've got no city in a bottle. That means I can take full advantage of all these powerful creatures that blue and green has to offer. And of course, green has Urnum Jinn. That's really the poster boy for Arabian Nights in green. 4/5 creature for 4 mana. That is really, really good. But during your upkeep, you have to give Forest Walk to a creature of your opponent, which was seen as a really big downside of the Urnum, but actually it's not really. So it's just a really, really good creature, especially that 5 toughness. I can tell you from experience, it's really difficult to deal with. And then he is also playing with Serendip Efreet and Serendip Jinn. Serendip Efreet, of course, a very popular card in regular old school as well, a 3/4 flyer. For 3 mana, what's not to love? And then you've got your Serendip Jinn, which is a 5/6 for 4. That's insane. I'm just going to say it again. A 5/6 flyer for 4 mana. Of course, it does have a downside, which is pretty substantial. You have to sacrifice a land during your upkeep. If it's an island, you take 3 damage yourself. So yeah, that's a problem. But is it really a problem if you're playing super aggressive? You don't mind taking some damage yourself. And usually when you're playing an aggressive deck, you have a low mana curve, meaning that you can kind of miss losing a couple of islands to the Serendip or a couple of forests for that matter. And then he's also playing with Old Man of the Sea to kind of steal some smaller creatures of the opponent. And that can also kind of prevent your opponent from having chump block material. Another nice card that I believe he's playing with today is Diamond Valley. Diamond Valley, Old Man of the Sea is really nice synergy. He's also playing with Giant Grove. So let's say your opponent has I don't know, a Juzam Jinn on their side of the table, and you've got an Old Man of the Sea. You can put a Giant Growth on your Old Man, making it a 5/6, steal the Juzam Jinn from your opponent, and then kill it or sacrifice it to the Diamond Valley to gain 5 life, which is pretty cool, right? I mean, and you gain life, and you've removed a creature with just 1 Giant Growth. So that's a pretty good value. Then when we're looking at the spells, by the way, I already mentioned Giant Growth. He's also playing with Berserk. Berserk and Giant Growth go hand in hand, and of course, Berserk works really well in a deck with Serendip Jinns. And then we also have counter spells to kind of control the board. I'm sure he's also playing with Braingeyser. Not sure if he's got the blue power in there. We'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, I don't have a deck photo, so I don't have his list. So these are the cards that I know that he plays with, but I'm assuming he's also playing with Ancestral Recall and Time Walk, but we'll have to see. And then for the mana fixing, he's also playing with Birds of Paradise, I believe. So yeah, this looks like a really strong deck, to be honest. I mean, usually you would say, okay, this deck is really vulnerable to City in a Bottle, but remember, that card is banned. So making decks like this really, really strong. So I'm a little bit worried for the Elephant Graveyard player. I hope, Dominic, because that's his name, Dominic, that you are able to, get your drop of honey out early. I think that could be a card that can really work in this matchup. Anyway, this is the deck of Martin. We looked at the deck of Dominic, so let's go to the match. Game number 1, here we go. So on the left, we have Dominic. He's playing a white-green Elephant Graveyard deck. And on the right, we have a blue-green Arabian Aggro deck piloted by Martin. And I believe Dominic took a mulligan. So he's down to 6 cards. Maybe took a double mulligan, even down to 5. But look at this Dominic. Also took 2 mulligans, it seems, putting 2 cards there on the bottom. Is there going to be a 3rd card added? Wow, 3 mulligans. So 3 cards on the bottom. That is heavy stuff. Starting with just 4 cards. I also believe he's on the play. Look at that, playing a basic island, passing the turn. There we see Dominic playing a Savannah and a pass. There's a forest. And a plane. So both players just playing out some lands. Here we see Dominic fixing the blinds for us. Thank you for doing that. Or actually Martin fixing the blinds for us. Thank you. And now taking his turn as well. Is he going to play a Serendip here on turn 3? Nope, he's playing an Old Man of the Sea. So the 2/3 creature. that can actually steal the war elephants. There we see a drop of honey. Ooh, so that old man's gonna die very, very quickly to the drop of honey. Unless, of course, Martin can find some kind of solution to it. There's the attack for 2. There's a giant growth. And there we see a swords to plowshares in response here. And that means 2 life here for Martin. And also it means that the drop of honey immediately goes away. Tapping 4. There's an elephant graveyard, by the way. There's a war mammoth. Counterspell on the war mammoth. Oh, this is so cool. Countering a war mammoth. I love it. 3/3 trampler for 4 mana. And again, I really like both of these decks, especially the elephant graveyard deck. And Dominic, you're going to take on turn number 5. There's a COP green, and there's a pass. Of course, COP green is going to work really well with his plan with the Cyclone and the If-Bif for free. There's a pass of Martin as well. So Martin not doing much. Looks like he cannot find any creatures. There's a tap of 4. There's a Nevinyrral's Disc. But also Dominic not really finding the cards that he's hoping for. Like a War Elephant would have been nice here, or a War Mammoth. Or perhaps an If-Bif or a Cyclone. Anyway, there's a city and a pass. So both players kind of trying to find threats. There's an island and a pass. There's a tap of 4. Are we going to see a creature here? Oh, there's a Cyclone. So this Cyclone could be good. So what Cyclone does is during the upkeep of Dominic, he has to pay a green. And you put a wind counter on it. And then it deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. And then the next turn you get a second wind counter. You've got to pay 2 green, etc, etc. And when you cannot pay it anymore, the Cyclone gets destroyed. Now the combo here for Dominic is that he's combining this with Circle of Protection green. So, you know, he doesn't take damage from the Cyclone because he can prevent it with his COP green. So now we're going to see it in action. So it's 1 damage to everybody, but he's using that mana from the Elephant Graveyard to prevent the damage. So just damage going to Martin here, dropping to 21. There we see another City of Brass, by the way, for Dominic. 3 cards in hand for him, and it looks like it's going to be a pass. There's a forest. Yeah, there's just not much going on for Martin, which is great news, of course, for Dominic. Look at that, 2 more damage dealt. And it's going to be more and more and more. The question is how many green mana can Dominic find to keep paying the cost for the Cyclone. Remember, each turn you've got to pay an extra green. So next turn he'll be forced to tap the City of Brass, taking damage from that. Okay, it looks like he's going to play something out. Tapping 3. Set 3 blue. Untapping again. Okay, 1 blue, 2 green. And a trop. Ooh, there's an Serendipgin. I want to say Urnimgin, but it's a Serendipgin. 5/6 creature, flying creature, so it's huge. And now, of course, oh, he's going to let the Cyclone die. Does that mean that he wants to start using the Nevinyrral's Disc, perhaps? Still had enough mana to pay for it. I mean, I would have been tempted to pay, but of course I don't know what cards Dominic has in hand. Because one of the things you could have done is pay for the Cyclone, prevent the damage yourself, so that means 4 more damage for Martin. And then when it's his turn, you can blow up the board with your disc if you want to. So that you don't take any damage from the Serendipgin. Yeah, now of course it's going to go sideways attacking. Oh, he's going to make it green. Oh, he's going to make it green. And now he can prevent the damage dealt with his COP green. Oh, this is so funny. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. So not taking any damage. And now it's turned green. And you can see that because of the coin that's being put on there. Oh, this is hysterical. I love this. Yeah, I find that better. That's more like a green token. A green chip. And to be honest, I don't understand why he didn't just pay for the Cyclone cost. Because he could have used his other City of Brass. There's also an Island of Wak-Wak. Wow. Yeah, that Serendipgin is doing nothing. And he has to sacrifice, I think. Or can he choose not to? I guess he has to sacrifice a land. Doesn't have the option not to. Ep4 there in hand. There's the attack, so of course he's going to prevent it. And I'm just going to say it again, I really would have kept the Cyclone, because that's your way to win this game, right? Anyway, let's see what else he can do. Gonna tap 4. Ooh, there's a war mammoth. Yeah, 3/3 trampler. And he can regenerate it, of course, with that untapped elephant graveyard there. It's got 2 elephant graveyards in total. And there we see Martin sacrificing another land. Attacking. Changing the power there to 0 with the Island of Wak-Wak. Yeah, this is just hysterical. There's the pass. It's looking pretty bad for Martin, but I mean, if you're Dominic, you still have to find a way to win this. There's the attack, yeah, because he didn't keep the Serendip on blocking duty. Gonna tap 3 blue here, it seems. Does he have a combat trick here? Gonna tap 3. What are we gonna see for 3? Oh, there's a Psionic Blast, but he can regenerate it, of course. Oh, that's kind of a misplay here for Martin. It's gonna take 2 damage, drop to 17. Oh, it's looking so bad for him. And then he still takes... No, he doesn't take the damage because he regenerated, of course. Gonna tap 4. There's a War Elephant. Next turn, he could blow up the board, regenerate his elephants. Oh, man, I'm loving this. This is so much fun. Then again, do you want to blow up the board? Because you want that Serendip Djinn to stick around. Although it's not going to stick around here with the Diamond Valley. This Diamond Valley is really going to help Martin here. But he's still in a pretty bad spot. I would be tempted here to no, not blow up the board yet, I guess. Oh, there's an If-Biff. Interesting choice. Playing out the If-Biff. There's a counterspell, though, on the If-Biff. Could have attacked here with both, by the way, because whatever creature would be blocked, he could have regenerated it with this untapped Elephant Graveyard. But maybe choosing to keep it untapped to maybe save an elephant if Martin chooses to fire off another Psionic Blast there. Tapping 2 blue. There's a forest. Tapping the forest, tapping a blue. What are we going to see? Another blue. There's a Serendip Efreet. I mean, this doesn't really matter that much, does it? I mean, he can just attack. And he can regenerate, or he can change the toughness to 0. There he goes. Attacking with both. In a band, probably, of course, because War Elephant is banding. Oh, this is so funny. It's a 5/5 bander. I'm loving this elephant deck. It's fantastic. And Martin's like, what to do? I'm playing all these good creatures, but I'm getting my face smashed in by elephants. What's going on? Taking the damage. Dropping here to 18. Okay. And there's the pass turn. Yeah, of course, if you're Dominic, you're fine with the current situation. The only problem, I guess, that Dominic has, he should take a damage here, by the way, from the Serendip Efreet, should go to 17. But the only problem here for Dominic is that, yes, he's got full control, but it's going very slow. And that's always risky, because then you're allowing your opponent to get back into it. So you're ahead on board. How are you going to maximize that? There's first the attack, of course. He can change the power toughness here to 0 with the Island of Wak-Wak. That's exactly what he does, so not going to take any damage. What are we going to see? Are we going to see perhaps a Giant Growth, a Berserk? Or is this in his second main already? Now taking that 1 damage, by the way, from the Serendip Efreet, so dropping to 17. Looks like he's got an Urnum Djinn there in hand. I don't think I would play it out. I would kind of wait. He's got a COP green. You really want him to use that Nevinyrral's Disc first, but I don't think he's going to. Because why would he? So he can now ban the elephant again. Doesn't even have to ban, but it's just fun to ban, I guess. Attacking here with the 5/5 again. Martin dropping to 12. Ooh. Passing the turn, taking a damage from the Serendip. Drop to 11. Exactly. Drawing a card for turn. There's a Psionic Blast there in hand. But I mean, the Blast is not good because he's got 2 Elephant Graveyards untapped. Looks like he is going to play out that Urnum Djinn. I mean, that makes sense. You want to put some pressure on Dominic. Worst case scenario, at least you have a blocker for the Elephants for a turn. Untap, upkeep, draw step here for Dominic. I love the fact that he can just attack in a ban. This is so cool. Attacking again, it's a 5/5 banning creature. And remember, with banning, you can divide the damage any way you want to. So there's a giant growth. And you can just put all the damage on one elephant and regenerate it. That's how banning works. So putting everything on the war elephant and exactly regenerating it with the elephant graveyard, this is fantastic. And of course, I guess the good news here for Martin is that his Urnum doesn't die. So it buys him some time and he doesn't take any damage. There he goes, tapping for another war elephant. There's a pass turn. Yeah, and now he can attack in a huge band. Oh, this is so funny. He can make it a 7/7 trampler because War Elephant also has banding and trample. And War Mammoth has trample. So then that whole creature as a band has trample. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. There's a green. There's a Birds of Paradise. And he dropped to 10, of course, from his own Serendip damage. The one thing, and that's probably why this is going to take long. So there's a certain elephant needs to get Forest Walk, I guess, from the Urnum. But this game is going to take pretty long. Why? Because of that Diamond Valley. The Diamond Valley can give Martin so much life. That's probably the reason why he keeps playing. He's thinking, you know, maybe I can find an out. I've got my Diamond Valley. And I guess, okay, look at that. Keeping a war elephant there on blocking duty, I guess. Which surprises me a little bit. Attacking here in the band, 5/5 band. So what is going to happen here? I mean, what I would do in this case is I would block with the Urnum or the Serendip, and then before damage is dealt, sack into Diamond Valley. Look at this, taking the damage though. Tapping 3. Oh, there's an if-biff. Oh, and remember, if-biff, if you pay 1 green, it deals the damage to everybody and each creature with flying. And this if-biff could mean the end. Well, not the end yet, because he's got the Diamond Valley for some life gain, but can get him pretty close to losing this first game for Martin. 3 cards in hand. The good news for Martin is that it's just the first game, and remember, he started with taking 3 mulligans, so he only started with 4 cards in hand. But for Dominic, of course, this is a great start of this match. Untap, upkeep, draw. He's gonna pay 4. He's going to try to blow up the flying creatures here. That's it. He's not even going to sack to the Diamond Valley. He's thinking, you know what? You've got this. And I think if you're Martin, it kind of makes sense. Because remember, we are playing here at a tournament, meaning that the matches are limited to 50 minutes. So if you're already losing, you might as well say, you know what? I'm going to scoop. I'm going to sideboard and try again in game number 2. Game number 2. Here we go. And if game number 2 is going to be half as much fun as game 1, we're in for a treat. And Martin, of course, on the play after losing that first game. And let's see if he wants to keep his hand. Remember, he took 3 mulligans in the first game, so that was very unlucky for him. And we see also Dominic checking out his hand, deciding if he wants to keep. Looks like Martin is keeping here, starting with a tropical island into a Llanowar Elves, passing the turn. So that means next turn he can potentially play a Surrender Befreet. And here we see a Soul Ring being played out by Dominic. So both players having a pretty quick start, especially compared to the game 1, where the starts were quite slow. There we see a desert, so are we going to see a Surrender Befreet here? That's the big question. Going to tap 3. No, we're going to see a Psionic Blast, very aggressive here. 4 damage on the life total here of Dominic, dropping to 16. And of course Martin taking 2 damage from his own blast as well, dropping to 18. And there we see a War Mammoth. Turn 2 War Mammoth. That's what you want to do in life. 3/3 Trampler. And back in the day when I was a little Tim, whenever I would put a Giant Growth on my War Mammoth, I would call it a mini Force of Nature. And I still love to do that. There is a green there being tapped. There's a Birds of Paradise. So lots of ramp. But he's missing a land drop here, it seems. Passing the turn here for Martin. So missed the land drop. I mean, that's a problem, because remember, he's playing with Serendip Djinns, and they kind of eat up his lands. There's the attack, taking the damage, dropping to 15. There we see a desert. Tapping 3, and there's a war elephant. Now we can band them together. Both players having a desert on the battlefield. I think Dominic is pointing that out. And one of the things that's nice about this format is that you don't have Mishra's Factory, meaning that cards like Desert all of a sudden become kind of playable. And Desert actually is really annoying against a lot of creatures, especially in aggressive decks. Like Flying Man gets really hard to play. Savannah Lions, of course, becomes a problem. And a lot of those like green aggro decks can have a problem. Also because you don't have Pendelhaven in this format, so that makes Desert even better. So yeah, it's a tricky thing to deal with. And here we see Martin tapping 3, 4 even. What are we going to see for 4 mana? Ooh, there's a Control Magic. Oh, I really like this. Deciding to take the War Elephant, and that makes sense because yes, it's a 2-2 and the War Mammoth is a 3-3, but the War Elephant is banding, which could come in really, really handy. But really cool. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen somebody control Magic a War Elephant before here on the channel. There we see an Island of Wak Wak. There's a Drop of Honey. Oh, that is so annoying for Martin. That Drop of Honey. I wonder if he's going to attack here with the War Mammoth. I think I would. But deciding not to, being patient. Maybe going to let the Drop of Honey do its work first. And remember, Drop of Honey works during the upkeep of Dominic, so Martin still has a little bit of time, but that's a problem with blue-green. You don't really have those quick answers that you have when you, for example, splash white, when you can have disenchants. And I wonder if he plays with a Tranquility, because Tranquility can also be counterproductive because he's also playing with Control Magics. Tapping 2 here, tapping 3 it seems, or not. Looks like Martin's not quite sure. Gonna tap the desert instead. What is he gonna do for 3? Are we gonna see a Psionic Blast here on the War Mammoth and then an attack perhaps for 3? It could be a line. Yep, there we see the Psionic Blast. And he's gonna take 2 damage himself, dropping to 13. I believe he forgets to take the damage here. There's the attack. Dominic dropping to 14. There's the pass turn. So yeah, it's unfortunate they're forgetting the damage. Could be relevant later on in the game. And now we see Drop of Honey doing work, taking care of that Birds of Paradise. Because it first kills the creatures with the lowest power. And that, of course, is the Birds of Paradise. There's a Tsunami! Oof! That's a problem. Losing half of his lands, right? Only had Desert and Tropical Island. Losing the Tropical Island to the Tsunami. It's looking very bad for Martin again. There's another desert, playing the desert. And now, of course, he can attack for 3. Just attacking with the War Elephant, though. Not attacking with the Llanowar Elves. Using that mana for a Giant Growth. Yeah, that makes sense. Remember, he's playing Giant Growths and Berserks. So 5 damage taken here by Dominic, dropping to 9. There's a pass. And now, of course, a Drop of Honey is going to work. Going to take out the Llanowar Elves. Exactly, Llanowar Elves going to the bin. So 9 life for Dominic. Ooh, that's a bit of a concern. Then again, Martin only has that War Elephant that he's going to lose pretty soon. And he doesn't have any green mana to play Berserks. Ooh, there's a Tranquility there from the top, but he cannot play it out. And I think this is going to be the last attack here with the War Elephant. Going to put him on 7 probably. Exactly. And then that's it. And also the Drop of Honey goes as soon as there are no more creatures on the battlefield. There we see a new War Elephant. But of course that War Elephant cannot really attack. Well, it can, but then it's going to get killed by the deserts. So that's not ideal for Dominic. And Dominic's on 7. That's a problem, you know. There's the attack with the Tutor. Okay, so he is going to attack on a drop to 13. Playing a Tsunami. I'm a little bit surprised. Why doesn't he kill the War Elephant here with the 2 deserts? Is he forgetting to do it? Yeah, I guess he's forgetting to use the desert, or am I missing something? Because there is no elephant graveyard on the battlefield, right? Here we see a tranquility, but that's going to do nothing. Yeah, it's a land. Oh man, making a mistake. They're thinking that it's an enchantment, I guess. So some sloppy plays here by Martin. There's the attack for 2, because now the deserts are tapped, so that War Elephant should have been dead already. There's a COP green passing the turn. Martin on 11, Dominic on 7. And now, of course, the Tranquility works, taking care of the circle of protection green. I think I would have waited with the Tranquility, by the way, because no reason to play it out yet. And there's the attack. Now he's going to drop to 9 and still cannot kill the War Elephant. There's another Island of Wak-Wak. Those Islands of Wak-Wak are really good against the deck of Martin. Martin getting a little bit like, oh man, not finding the cards I need. This elephant deck is on fire. Gonna attack again here. He's gonna drop to 7. Not quite sure why he's going to 8. Anyway, let's see what else is gonna happen here. We see a Berserk. Showing the Berserk, but not playing it out. Could play it on the War Elephant to kill it, but I think you should, you should really use your deserts, Martin. Maybe I'm missing something, let me know in the comments, but now he's tapping the deserts. Now he's killing the War Elephant. Okay. So it took some time, but he finally killed the War Elephant. There's a Diamond Valley passing the turn. There's a Plains. There's a Forest. In the end of the day, there's 7 for Dominic and 8 for Martin. Martin is still very much in this game. There's an island. He needs to get rid of those Islands of Wak-Wak, I think. Although he's got, of course, Urnum Djinns as well. There's a Regrowth. Ooh, I wonder what he's going to get back. He's going to get back the War Mammoth, playing it out the same turn. Of course, War Mammoth is at 3/3, so it cannot be killed by those 2 deserts. There's another island. Ooh, and is this War Mammoth going to attack? Untap, upkeep, draw. There's an Elephant Graveyard. That is really good news. Now he can regenerate and protect it from a Psionic Blast. There's the attack. Is he going to drop to 5? I think he can regenerate it now. He's going to put a Berserk on it. He's going to drop to 2, and I believe he can regenerate it with the Elephant Graveyard. Oh, Martin. For some reason, he's dropping to 1. I think he should drop to 2 because he was on 8, right? Or am I missing something again? Anyway, that's it. Look at this. Wow. The deck of Dominic winning it here. And I have to be honest, when I was checking out the lists of the players, well, again, I didn't have the deck photo of Martin, but when I was looking at Martin's strategy, I really thought that he had the better deck. But wow. That's the nice thing about Magic, right? It's not an exact science. You cannot say, oh, that deck's going to win because of this and this. No, you never know. And Dominic winning it here with this Elephant Graveyard deck or Elephant Tribal deck, however you want to call it. But it's a very cool deck. Congratulations, Dominic, for winning this match here at DadBodCon. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to keep an eye on the channel because I'm also going to show you the finals. And those finals are coming up next Friday. So if you don't want to miss a thing, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. And if you're already a subscriber of the channel, thank you so much for supporting the show and following the videos here on Timmy Talks. If you have a moment, please like, share, and comment on this video. All these things are free and really help the channel move forward because YouTube loves that stuff. And talking about moving forward, you can also become a patron of the show. Check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks to find out how you can become a patron. And the cool thing is, when you become a patron, you get access to the Timmy Talks Discord, the exclusive Discord for patrons and channel members. You can join in on all the online tournaments that I organize, and you can even get your name in the end scroll. What end scroll? This end scroll.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning. Putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat
to Sumba Kazee.